Please enter your access code followed by the pound. This thing will read.
Back up. Anders Pollock. Hello, everyone. Okay, sounds good. Perfect. Sorry, give me 1 second here. Sorry, just making sure that the sound's going to be recorded nicely. Video language. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out if I can like speed up the latency a little bit because it's a little tough, but let's try to make this work, I guess. If not, we can definitely try to do the Google Hangout on air or just regular Google Hangout. But like I said, we need to have you need like a personal Google account to be able to do that. It's like they make a weird restriction on it. Age restriction, stream optimization, low latency. Enable slow mode automatically. Okay, I think we might have to just deal with it being slightly slow. So apologies there. Maybe we can have it so that you guys kind of follow along on your end. I guess it's easier if I just sort of demonstrate and then we can all watch the video later if we have questions. Okay, so first of all, how's everyone? Haven't talked to you in a while. Have you gotten a chance to play around with the site at all? What's going on? Mm-hmm. All right. But you guys haven't really messed around with like updating or adding content or anything. Okay. Let me just check to see. Okay, yeah, I see. Peering into the cosmic maelstrom. And yes, the first order of things I need to tell you guys how to do. But I guess I'll start with just generally adding and updating content in our main information pages on our website. So the way that so obviously you figured out how to make posts and events and whatnot. But the way all the high level pages in this WordPress site work they're all under the pages heading on the left column in the admin screen. You're probably not going to really be touching these all that often, but like updating the board list on the about page, updating like wording of mission, stuff like that, that's going to be all in here. And it's basically the same as updating any normal post, with the one difference being that all of these pages on the pages listing, they all have their own unique kind of template. So each one's going to give you different options based on where you're at. So like the about page, let's see here. The about page has like a lot of different like content editor windows, as you can see, that are like correspond directly to the stuff that's on it. Okay. Sorry, this is a little disorienting. This is disorienting a little bit. Sorry, what? The newest events. Sorry, what were you about to say? Oh yeah, to the homepage. That's probably a better place to start, if anything. All new events get added to the upcoming events area down here, which you added on the dev site. This peering into the cosmic maelstrom. But everything that's above here in the featured section, this gets controlled from our homepage sort of like page edit window. It's hard to describe where these things are at. So let me see where we're at in the live stream just to make sure you guys can have caught up to me. Oh God, this is a nightmare. I'm so sorry. Okay, so we're on pages. You want to change the featured content on the homepage. You find the homepage page in the pages listing. On the homepage edit screen, you'll see there's only 3 options. Primary featured post and your 2 secondary featured posts. And this works exactly how you would expect it to. You can just kind of click on one of the drop downs. You can start scrolling and see that the content's separated by these different headings. But since this is basically just a master listing of everything, you're not going to get anywhere very fast. So it's easy to start like typing stuff in to filter out results. And the searching in here is like pretty good. If you guys end up having any issues where you're trying to post stuff and it's just not catching in here, let me know and we can have an alternate workaround where we like add the post ID number. But this is during all the content migration, this has been working really well for me. But you can kind of see like, yeah, stuff will just kind of pop up. It's pretty nice. So yeah, you choose whatever you want from within this drop down menu and then just click update when you want to change what's on the home page. And the featuring of content kind of goes the same way on other pages. There's a few more options like on the about page here. Obviously, you only have one featured post, but every non-homepage has the ability to just quickly disable the featured post. So like right here, you can just like click the checkbox to turn it off and update it. And you'll see now on our about page, we will not have a featured thing. It's pretty simple. Just has the title and the stuff. Likewise, if you turn it back on, it remembers what was featured there last time, update it, make sure it goes through. And then you can refresh to see that it should now be good. So see, now on our about page, our highlight video is back. So that's all pretty straightforward. That's basically all you really need to know. All of the sort of specialized content editing in these more information pages follows pretty one-to-one the visual layout. So you can see like the multiple columns for changing the auxiliary board or the board members translates directly to the multiple columns you'll see on the front end of the screen. The staff listings work a little bit different on the about page. So you can see there's all these numbered rows that have everyone's sort of name, photo, title, email address, what have you. And you can just at any time you can like add another row, which will like give you another person. But you don't want to keep empty rows on here. So to remove it, you can just click on this minus button on the side of it. You can add rows in between by clicking on the plus button. This is all kind of, I guess I have to remove Jessica. It's all pretty straightforward. These you can kind of reshuffle around if you want to get them in a different order. But yeah, that's mostly, if you guys have entered text into a text window before, you're probably going to be fine here. So that's that. So we have our info. And then I guess let's move on to normal day-to-day kind of content stuff. So most likely you're probably going to just be posting a post or an event. Event is what you know it as, an event, and post is everything that is a video, blog post, news item, anything that's not an event or an initiative or a top level site page goes under posts. So if you want to create something new, you can just hover over posts, do add new, and then you'll be able to decide what kind of content you want to be posting in the add new post window. So you'll see it's got all the normal WordPress post stuff. It's just like doing any sort of new blog on any other WordPress. But now we have different options down here for post options. As you can see, the content type, the post is required. So it won't let you publish it unless you choose which kind of content it is. So yeah, that's pretty straightforward. Blog post, C2ST in the news, you can only choose one. And that just adds it to a custom taxonomy in the back end, so it knows how to sort everything based on this arbitrary content type. And we can add more of these as needed. They're like totally just text descriptions and buckets to keep content in. So if you guys come up with any new things, we can always add it. It's easy. So yeah, there's options for adding the author. If it is a video, the YouTube video URL will pull in the embedded YouTube link. The original article URL, that's for news items where you want to link back to the original thing. Any of these fields, author, YouTube video URL, article URL, they're all optional. They just add more nice details to your specific content type. But the only thing you need to be able to publish it is I think a title and just whatever content type it is. And that's really all you have to do for posts, because everything in there. Oh, actually, one more thing, which you probably encountered when you added your event to the dev site. When you add a lot of content into the this edit screen, hello, it's gonna, if it fills up, it's not going to cut itself off. So you're going to get all of the text that's listed in here on any content window. So anything you want to have like cut off, you're going to want to add an insert read more tag. And this is going to be the same for events and any kind of video, news, whatever kind of post content. This more tag is going to be what allows you to make sure you're not having, a novel on every single post spilling into each other. So anything above gets posted only on single listings. So everything below the more is what you'll see when you see the full listing of the post. So here we'll go in. Let's just find a random post in the library, just so we can show you what I mean. Here's a blog post: Precision Medicine using computer code to analyze genetic code. So see, it's got by Robert Chris. That had the author field filled out. It has the featured image. If there's no featured image, it's just it just omits it. But see, we have this nice little intro paragraph here with the continue reading link to make sure that happens. So see, here's like the full text of it. On this one, you just add the read more tag in between wherever you want it to cut off on the kind of library listing. So see here, it's just first paragraph has it, then there's the more tag, and then everything else is going to be falling below. So that's I made that decision because I figured you guys wanted to have some control over like how much excerpt information you want posted on all these index pages. But just remember that more tag is going to be necessary for anything that's longer than a paragraph because you don't want any of these index pages to be filled with huge walls of text. So that's posts, and then let's move on to events, I guess. Oh, sorry. Any questions? Um, so that right now is this image that was uploaded to this is a square. Um, and right now, any image you upload in here is gonna try to keep the image like fully, um, not cropped any information out of it. Uh, so right now, this is sort of like it adds these sort of gray bars just to keep um, every image like within this same sort of column layout. But then this lets us have all of our old kind of program images that were all these squares not get cropped. So before we had them kind of, it would just fill the available area, um, and it would chop off the top and the bottom of the images. So this is a way to sort of keep the whole image intact while not having it be like 600 pixels tall when it's like a square. So it's a bit of a layout compromise, and if you guys are like feeling like it's bothering you, looks ugly, I can make some changes. But this was sort of the compromise I made to move forward with having images on posts and whatnot that aren't squares, because everything on the current website has to be a square because that's like how it was designed. So this is a sort of a way to deal with all that old content that's square, but in the future it doesn't have to be a square. So that's that. Um, ba- Basically, it's kind of smart if so it's like anything that is wide enough to fill that square and not taller than a certain amount is going to fit. So I can give you some guidelines. Um, but alternately, if like I said, if you're not if you feel like the sort of gray square cropping box is an awkward layout, then we can just have it float on the background. That's no worries. But basically, it's designed the project. Let's do that one. So that one might be. Oh, sorry here. I want to go to dev.c2st.org to here. Um, so see how this one didn't get cropped because this was already kind of a wide enough banner. Oh yeah, it was slightly too tall. So right now, yeah, there's a specific cutoff where these images can only get to a certain. It's a little weird. It's sort of optimized to be like a best fit for all kind of images, but none are going to be full width. But in this case, I can see why it's a little bit awkward. I'll give you guidelines about how to do it, and in the meantime, also make that image display work a little bit nicer. But right now, yeah, it's sort of like it's either you have a full width image, and then all the old ones that are squares are these giant like 300 pixel wide squares. See, it's like kind of hard. You can't really filter the image based on what the ratio is unless you want to like add a bunch of code to sense where the like what the dimensions of the images are. But I'll give you guidelines on that moving forward. Because it's pretty flexible, but yeah, it's a little weird. So and obviously you know how to do that. You figured out how the featured image UI works. It's straightforward if you've used WordPress before. I'm sorry, when you add a new, like you're starting from scratch with a new event. There How do you mean on the home screen? Oh, well, the homepage featured events, are you talking about those top 3 or are you talking about everything that's listed after? Yeah, well, the top 3 has to be those have to be manually reshuffled around. Um, that yeah, that's sort of how it was designed. Is that like I'm sensing some irritation. Well, I guess it's just first step is obviously adding the event, and then going to the homepage and editing the homepage featured event in those drop downs that I showed you initially. It's kind of yeah, I guess so if you wanna if you're posting a new event to be promoted to the top primary featured spot, you might be doing that every day, but I figured, like, everything that was gonna be featured in that top spot would be there for probably about, like, a week at a time. Am I wrong in that kind of assumption? Yeah. So I figured it's like a little bit, like, manual, but rather than before where we have this carousel that hides everything, right here, it's just, "Here's the 3 slots. You got them. You can use them if you want. Everything else is gonna fall below that's not in those 3 slots." So it's trying to be like a happy marriage between having all the upcoming stuff and then being able to choose specifically, "I want this to be in the top spot. I don't want anything else to push it out of the way automatically until I choose." So so like you said, so we have this peering into the cosmic maelstrom. Let's make this featured on the homepage. How about? So we'll go to the homepage and we can click edit page to quickly jump into the edit screen for it. And now we'll see primary featured post, uh, cosmic maelstrom. We'll peering into the cosmic maelstrom. So click it there. We'll update. And then now we will see that the homepage has peering into the cosmic maelstrom as the top listed. Oh, but we also need to make sure, see how the whole content is in here. We have to make sure that that is all going to be chopped off. So in our peering into the cosmic maelstrom event, now we have to edit that actually. Apologies for my slowness. Yeah. So when you first add this peering into the cosmic maelstrom event here, um, yeah, we have to go into the little WYSIWYG here and say add it like here or something. So then when that's in place, we're going to be in business. So now we see it's updated and it's chopped off just nicely. So yeah, so it's sort of like once you input the event, changing the features around is pretty easy, but it's just the initial making sure all the boxes are ticked with the uploading of the event to make sure it's not going to bleed onto everything. So I guess we can. Sorry. Span. Sorry. What do you mean? Well, this is. I mean. Okay. it's. This is all sort of like. I mean, I can change the design a little bit, but it's like this thing is sort of designed to be dealing with like a lot of different kinds of content. So I think if that blank space underneath the feature is sort of weird, then I think the solution is to just kind of make the excerpt shorter. Um, it's a lot of I apologize for the compromising kind of nature of some of this featured stuff, and we can address this in sort of future updates to the site. But this is sort of it has to kind of deal with a lot of different kind of stuff. So right now the layout is a bit stuck. So if you kind of shorten it, you can get a different layout. Like I said, we can do some design edits later, but like this thing is sort of set in stone right now. Like theme wise. Yeah, and I mean, no, yeah, it's sort of the layout here is sort of designed to make it so that you don't have to think about layout as much. But if there's like some visual stuff like this that's bothering you, please keep a log of it. And when we're doing like major sort of site additions, these kind of like little like tweak this kind of changes, that's when I can kind of squeeze those in without being like I have to bill you guys for 3 hours for like changing the shape of the box, you know. um, but I'm totally open to any design criticism. So um, I guess should we jump back into the edit events? So we'll use the peering into the Cosmic Maelstrom as our sort of example. You obviously figured out all the custom fields are there. They match up pretty one-to-one, just like every other page. Program series is on the right here. Event type is on the right here. And those are all internal custom taxonomies that are able to sort it in the same way as all the other content types. So my first thing I want to talk about is you have all the speakers listed here and just like in the main content body, which is totally fine. This is how we've done it in the past because all we had was just like a single big, wall of text that we could add stuff to. But all that stuff below here, this featured guest label and partnership section label, this is where we would ideally add our speakers and our partner logos. So you can add them into the main content body, no problem. And like that's yeah, totally acceptable. But this bottom section down here is like specifically made to handle that kind of stuff. So it kind of makes it formats it in a little nicer. So we'll see this featured guest label. You can kind of make it like featured speakers or like keynote speak. You can change it to whatever you want, or you can just leave it blank if you don't want any heading. And then if you want to add some guests, you click add row, featured guests. This label, don't worry about it. And only things that are inside editable text fields are going to be showing up on the front end of the site. Everything else is just sort of context information. So you can add your guests in here, name, photo, bio. Add rows to add more, reshuffle them, just like how the staff listings work. It's that same kind of like repeating nested box interface. I don't know how else to describe it. And then the partnership section label works the same way. This is like the big top level heading that says partners. You can keep it that way. Partner heading. So we can see that it is here. Partnership. Add row. Partner group label. This program is in partnership with. Add row inside. This one's a little more complicated. I apologize. It's one of these boxes inside of another one of these boxes. But once you see the results, it kind of all makes sense. You just kind of got to play with it for a second. This program is presented in partnership with someone important. All right, so that's there. We'll do like a tentative save on that so that we can see the changes. View pub. So the way I was doing that was sort of keeping them all under the speakers heading and then just adding under their name, just doing moderator : in front of the name field. So it's like they're all listed under speakers and then the moderator has like a special moderator tag. But again, that's like this is sort of like a one size fits all solution to make sure that we can have general, formatted guests kind of display. But if we want to add some specific subheadings within there, like how we have for um, the partnership. So right now, yeah, see this in this partnership section, partner heading, this program presented in partnership with someone important. So the idea with the partner section was you'd have partners, sponsors, whatever as the partner heading, and then the subheading could be like gold, silver, platinum kind of donation level, or this program sponsored by this program in partnership. Like the different sort of levels of sponsorship would be the subheading. So I can add a similar kind of second level heading to the speakers section. But generally this is how this works. And if it's a little confusing at first, I invite you to just add one in there, and you can kind of see where these specific fields match up to the front screen. It's just that this nested partner within a partner interface is a little bit complicated, because it allows you to delineate different levels. So that's why I kept the featured guest section a little bit simpler, because this one is like is another level. Um, so you can kind of see like these boxes inside of boxes get a little unruly, but it lets you kind of it lets you keep everything organized without having to go into the WYSIWYG editor and manually change the widths of images. It crops the images to the right to like an optimum width, and it adds these sort of dividers in between everything. So you can kind of see the results. It lays stuff out really nicely when you have a lot of different things. So for this was kind of made around our fundraiser pages, which usually have like tons and tons and tons of sponsors. So you can kind of see where this one comes into play, how this can get useful with awardees, lifetime achievement, young professional, um, sponsors. Each one can have either text or image under these different levels. So we can have all of this kind of like tons and tons of stuff that usually just gets into a huge text block. Now we can have it kind of like laid out a little bit nicer. And if it's all put in the back end in these custom fields, then any future changes we want to make to how we want to lay out all this stuff will just be a stylistic change, because all the data will be like, oh, we know that Barry's Bootcamp is listed under in-kind donors underneath the sponsors heading in the annual Gala 2018 event. So it's all kind of like it's a little more work inputting things in these boxes inside of boxes, but then we have a reference on the back end to be able to like shuffle things around in the future and just keep everything kind of uniform layout. And so so you guys don't have to be messing around in this text field, like realigning stuff, messing with this stuff. Then you're gonna waste a lot of time. Hopefully not. Uh, does, does anyone have any questions about this? Yeah. Apologies for the slowness. Yeah. Okay. What else is on our agenda here? So we did blogs, videos, news. I guess I'll show you guys how the initiatives work as well, and then we can start talking about next steps. So initiatives are probably not going to be edited very often, since this is like new big stuff. But I'll show you guys how to like add stuff to Aaron Freeman's page, whatnot, things like that. So initiatives work just like posts. You can see all of them under initiatives as just like single posts. They're pretty straightforward, other than the fact that they have this ability to nest other posts inside of them. So we see our CPS educator fellow. It's got the featured image. It's got the main content. It's got the more tagged cut off where it shows on the initiatives listing. And then down here is where it says related content section title. It says related content. This is where you would like add extra posts that are associated with this initiative. So this is, let's go to since this one doesn't actually have any related content because we didn't add any to it. It's just the main stuff. Let's look at the Aaron Freeman page, artist in residence. This one has a ton. So this was the entire initiative page was kind of designed around Aaron Freeman's page. So you can see, yeah, it just has everything. It takes a little while to load because there's so many. I can do some optimizations around that later, but so give it a second here. You can see under Aaron's page, he has a lot of related content. Sorry, let me let it load. My computer is being a slow sloth right now. Wait. Sorry, running a live stream and like 100 browser windows is not the best way to go sometimes. C2ST artist in residence. Can we go to our edit screen? Come on. Ugh. I'm going to do the local version because I think it's getting annoyed at me because I have 3 different versions of this website open at once. Okay. Okay, we'll go to initiatives. Okay, artist in residence. So under Aaron's page, same stuff. Related content section heading. But now you'll see that he has a bunch of posts listed in this right-hand column under link posts. So anytime you add something to this, it just gets added in reverse chronological order. So like the first video listed here is the bottommost one listed in his feed. This is just so that anytime you want to add a new thing that Aaron Freeman's done, you don't have to reorder any of the old posts. You'll just add it to the top of the list. And you can do that by just finding anything in this left-hand side. So by default, it shows every single post and event. You can filter it in the same way. So let's say something about, I don't know. Yeah, disaster in the Gulf. And you click on that, it gets grayed out in this left side to show that it's actively being linked to the other side. You can see it appears on this side. And you can remove it with that little minus button. So it shows up back here. But if we add it, you'll see, I'll update. And then we can see his news page with the new content added. So yeah, this one is a little, so yeah, you'll see disaster in the Gulf, recap in words and pictures is now added to his list of related content. But yeah, this one works a little bit differently than the featured content interface for the about page, events page, all those other ones. Just because this one is like a multi-select. So it's a little different, but functionally it works the same. Like I said, don't have to worry about ordering. Yeah. So that's that for initiatives. And those are all the main sections. Comments we haven't gotten to yet. I can do a separate demo about how to deal with give donation forms, but right now we're just dealing with our our standard give now button. So we don't really need to worry about that yet until we have actual payment processors attached to it. So yeah, does anyone have any other questions, comments? Oh, sure. We can talk about that now actually. I wasn't sure if everyone was. Yeah, I'll dive into it. Um our give now button lives under donations. You can kind of see a pattern of everything sort of being treated like a post in WordPress because everything is essentially a post. But donations are just specialized posts. So you can see sustaining support. That's our those are our donation levels that we have on the support page. Give now is just the generic name your price give now button that's littered throughout the site navigation. And you can see Giving Tuesday, 10-year anniversary campaigns. These are like examples of different giving campaigns if you want to do like a some kind of fundraising drive that's going to last for like a month or so. But sustaining support is the main one that gets listed on the support page with all the different donation levels. So you can click on that and you'll see all the donation form options in here. And if you scroll down, you'll see donation levels. And Christine, like I said before, this was our since we can't add a range in the amount for donation levels, I just sort of added them as the text of the donation amount. So it says friend of C2ST. Then there's that divider bar. It says $1 to $49. So this is where I was kind of letting people know. And then in the amount field, anytime they change the amount, it's just going to jump to the bottom as the custom amount so they can give however much they want. But this way they'll know these are the different preset levels. Mm-hmm. Like content wise. That's what I mean, yes. Okay. Oh, I have to change community to 35 then, I guess. That matches what I got here. I have friend of C2ST, I guess. Yeah, one. Okay. Oh, I didn't even realize that. I'm so sorry. Copy and paste happy. And you said community builder is $35 instead of 50? 35 and above. So then friend of C2ST would be 1 to 34. I'll do that for good now. Well, either way, you can see that changing it is as simple as just going into donations, finding the sustaining support post, and then just changing the amount in the drop down here. So you can change this at will at any time. It's pretty easy. Mm-hmm. So I think. Oh yeah, I guess there's one other thing I can show you guys. Um, is just general customization of the site. Um, So if you didn't see where I went to appearance, themes, customize. Um, and this doesn't give you that much options because this is I don't I didn't make much use of the WordPress customizer. It's kind of like a newer interface. But you can in here change the tagline. So where it says celebrating 10 years, you can have it say something else once you want to end the celebration of 10 years. You can change the site, the name, the name of the organization on here, but that's not going to change. You can change the header image. So I have our banner. If you guys come up with a new big banner, I can give you, yeah, it gives you numbers about how big to make it, but you can update the banner at any time and it'll still have the same parallax scrolling effect with any new banner you add. So there's that. This is also where you can sort the navigation menu items and add them. But I would suggest that you don't do that because these Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, social media links, they have some custom stuff in here. Just as long as you don't touch them, that it's fine. But adding them, you have to make sure they have these specific CSS classes because that's how they get displayed in this specific way. But yeah, so in the future when we're adding our blog page, we should be able to just add a top level item like this. So similarly, if you want to have other one-off pages that get added to the main navigation, it's not too hard. You can add it within this nice interface. But I can give a more complete demo about adding top level stuff when that becomes relevant. So I think that's it. Sorry for the kind of meandering nature of this demo. The technology was a bit distracting, but I want to. Um, we did not talk about blogs, but I talked about it in the general adding of any kind of post. So blog falls under that. It's basically go to post, add new, write your blog, check blog post. Um, add that top level item to the pre-filtered library page with the blog posts. I have not added that yet, but I can add that today. Okay. Gotcha. So I'll make sure that's up today, along with all the few new events that have been added since the content migration is over. Because I see there's like, oh sure, I can make sure those are as well. Okay, so there's probably a fair amount, probably like 30 or so new content items. Well, at any rate, I'll I'm doing the final comb through anyway. That's going to be part of the necessary part of the launch process. But yeah. Okay. Yeah, if you guys find any like weird display bugs or any layout stuff that's just like this is bad. um, so then when I guess what's do we have like a rough timeline when we can make this thing go live? Because I guess once we coordinate our content, we can talk about that. Yeah. From my end, I think doing a soft launch is the right now, just because we have to take down the old site in order to get the new one, and just like a lot of this migration stuff, like we can transfer all the content, but like there's only so much I can like. This demo is kind of difficult to do. You guys are gonna have to get familiar with it. So if we can make sure I mean, from my end, I'll add all the remaining content that I see that's not in the database, and then if we can this week or early next week figure out any of the missing stuff that needs to get added. I'm honest. I'm ready to make this thing happen next week from then. If that's too soon, I have a lot of time right now. Is what I'm saying. Sure. Okay. Um, I guess if that's the case, then we can be a little. We don't have to do all the stuff right away. So I'll keep perfect. Yeah, I just want to make sure because I'm happy to push it back because summer's like difficult, especially if everyone's traveling. But I just want to know because I think July would be good because I don't want to be constantly playing catch up with the content upload, getting it to where the current live site is. So if we'll have like July, if that's a long extended period where there's not going to be a lot of new stuff added, then we can get everything finally synced up. Do the middle of the night swap, pretend like the old site never was even there, and then we can move forward and figure out the issues that we don't know about yet. Okay. All right. Um, then I guess I'll stand by for any stuff from Cody. In the meantime, do you guys have any other projects? Bye. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.